Hey everyone, I hope you're well. This is the story about what if Naruto was Tobirama's grandson and had ice release. Before we start, please subscribe to the channel and like the video as well. So without any further ado, let's start the what if. Forest area, early morning. A young girl was walking around the forest plucking for any medical herbs she can find. She was wearing a pink, sleeveless kimono, with pale red edges and decorated with small plum-colored swirls that went to her ankles. Around her waist was a simple white obi tied in a bow, and she wore a pair of light brown sandals with dark straps. She also wore a dark-colored choker around her neck. As she continues to collect her herbs on the very peaceful morning, she saw a blond boy was laying on the grassy floor, sleeping soundly. She then notices his headband, and her eyes narrowed when she saw the leaf symbol. She carefully approached his unconscious form, but couldn't help but blush when she notices how handsome he looked in his sleep. But she immediately rid herself of those thoughts, and began to reach for his neck, with the intent to strangle him in his sleep. But for some reason, she couldn't do it. Because despite her bloodline power, she wasn't cold in nature. Instead, she reaches for his shoulder, to gently shake him awake. But the moment she touched him, the blond boy's eyes immediately snapped open, and grabbed her wrist and tackled her to the ground, with a kunai placed on her throat. His violet eyes were burning with cold fury at her dark brown ones. So fast, was all the girl thought, fearing the worst to come. Luckily for her, the blonde softens his gaze and realizes what he was doing, and immediately got off of her. He was now feeling very embarrassed and apologetic. "Oh my god, I'm so sorry, I didn't mean to hurt you," the blonde says, with a guilty tone. "No, it's fine. It was really my fault. I should have known better than to wake up a sleeping ninja," the girl said with a soft smile, as she rubs her neck to check for any cuts. "Well, I'm still very sorry. I'm Naruto, by the way." The blonde introduces himself. "I'm Haku. And don't worry, I forgive you, Naruto," the girl said with a warm smile, that made Naruto blush a little. "If you don't mind me asking, Haku, but what are you doing out here, all alone?" Naruto asked. "I'm looking for some healing herbs for my father. He is not feeling well right now, and I want to help him to get better as soon as possible," Haku answered. "I see, well, do you need some help? I know a few things about herbs," Naruto offered. "Thank you, but I don't want to trouble you," Haku said. "It's no trouble at all. It is the least I could do for such a lovely lady," Naruto said with his bright smile. Haku couldn't help but blush at what he said. His warm smile alone was enough to melt her heart. The boy was not only handsome, but a real charmer, she thought. Naruto and Haku then began to pluck some herbs from the grassy ground in comfortable silence, until Haku decided to ask the blonde a question. "Why were you sleeping out here? It's not safe, you know," Haku asked. "Oh, I was training, and also venting out some of my frustrations a little," Naruto answered, rubbing the back of his head sheepishly. "I see. Why were you frustrated?" Haku asked curiously. "Oh, some dumb kid was saying things he didn't understand, and I kind of bit his head off last night. Not literally, of course," Naruto quickly corrected himself. "Teehee, you're funny. And you are very kind for helping me. Like I said, it's no trouble at all," Naruto reassured with a smile. The two continued to collect herbs, until Haku spoke up again. "Can I ask you another question?" she asked. "Sure. Why do you train so hard?" "Ha ha ha, I get that question a lot apparently. I guess, I trained, so I can be strong enough. So I can protect myself and all those who are precious to me from anything. Because I believe, when you have someone who you consider precious, that is when you truly become strong," Naruto said honestly with his bright smile. Haku's eyes were widened when she heard this. The blonde boy was exactly like her. I see. That is a very good reason, Naruto," I also truly believe that as well. Haku said with her own bright smile. Really? Naruto asked. Yes. My father is very precious to me. And I would do anything to protect him. Even if it cost me my life. Haku stated. Shouldn't it be the father's job to protect his child? Naruto asked. That is true, but that doesn't mean the child shouldn't help the father too. Haku reasoned. I suppose you are right. But let me tell you this, Haku, a true loving parent would rather see their child live on than die before them. A love of a parent is truly powerful. But when life takes away their child, they suffer a fate that is worse than death. So if you truly love them, you should live for them. Naruto stated. Haku was once again amazed. The boy was only 2 years younger than her, yet he was saying things like an old sage would. You are quite wise for someone as young as you, Haku said with a smile. I have good teachers. And your father is very lucky to have a daughter like you. Naruto said, as he smiled back. Thank you, Naruto. You are truly kind. You are very welcome, Haku. They both smiled brightly at each other, but blush when they realize they have been staring. Well, should I go now? I need to get these herbs to my father as soon as possible. Haku said, as she got up. Of course. It was nice meeting you, Haku. Maybe I will see you again soon. Naruto said hopefully. Yes, maybe. Haku said with a sad tone. As Haku was about to walk away, she remembered a small detail that she needed to inform anyone who she meets. Oh, and by the way, I'm a boy, Haku stated, preparing for his shocking reaction. But Naruto saw through her lie. No, you're not. Naruto said. Excuse me. Forgive me if I sound a little presumptuous, but I know a real woman when I see one. Naruto said with a smile. Haku was blushing heavily at this. Also, when I tackled you, I accidentally felt your lady parts, if you know what I mean. Haku blushed even more, feeling embarrassed that the handsome boy she met accidentally felt her up. I see. Well, I guess there is no fooling you, huh? Haku said shyly. Ha ha ha, I guess so, Naruto said, as he rubbed the back of his head sheepishly. My father wanted me say that, he said it was a way to protect myself. Especially from perverts. Haku informed. Well, Zabuza sounds like a smart father. Naruto said with slightly cold tone. Yes, he. Haku immediately stopped her sentence. Her eyes widened when she heard Naruto mentioned her supposed father's name. You knew? Haku asked with worry in her voice. Yes, Naruto said coldly. Since when? She asked. Since I met you, he answered. How? I probably shouldn't be telling you this, but I'm a censor, and your chakra levels are far too high for a normal civilian. Naruto explained. I see. You are the fake hunter ninja, correct? Yes. Well, it's nice to finally meet you, I suppose. Naruto said. If you knew all along, then why didn't you just kill me? Why pretend and help me collect the herbs? Haku asked. Why didn't you? You could have killed me in my sleep. Why is that? Naruto asked, which made Haku wonder herself. Because I didn't want to. But I will fight you now, if I have to. Haku stated. Do you really want to fight me, Haku? Naruto asked, his voice filled with sadness. No, Haku answered. Then we don't have to. In fact, we don't have to fight at all, you know. Just take Zabuza and leave. Naruto said. I can't do that. This is Zabuza-sama's mission. And I will follow his will until the end. Even if it means we have to be enemies, Naruto. Haku said. But I don't see you as my enemy, Haku. I only see a kind-hearted girl that is sweet enough to collect herbs for her sick father. There are some truths in that cover you mentioned, and now I can't help but feel that fighting against you would be wrong. But I will fight you if you go after Tazuna," Naruto stated. It was now a moment of brief silence between the two. "So, what do we do now?" Haku asked, slightly nervous. "I guess I'll see you by end of the week," Naruto answered. "I see, very well then," Haku said sadly. As she was about to leave, she couldn't help but stop midway, as she turns around to look at Naruto one last time with a desperate pleading look on her face. "Please, don't fight us, Naruto. I don't want to hurt you," Haku pleaded. "I don't want to hurt you too, Haku. But I guess only time will tell," Naruto said sadly. Haku then began to walk away with a sad look in her eyes. She didn't know why, but she really didn't want to fight Naruto. Somehow she felt a connection with him that she hasn't felt for a long time. Like he was family to her. Naruto, however, was now in deep thought. Haku truly wasn't what he expected from an assassin and underling of the demon of the hidden mist. But there was something else that intrigues him about her. Why does her chakra nature feel so familiar? It is almost as cold as ice, Naruto thought with wonder. But then his eyes widened when he finally realized who Haku really is. "She's a Yuki," Naruto said under his breath. Back in Zabuza's hideout, a couple of days later. Zabuza was now sitting on a couch with an apple in his hand. His nerves are now fully recovered as he then crushed the apple with ease. "You're recovering quickly," Haku said. "Just a little longer, Haku. It will be foolish to engage them recklessly, since you told me Kakashi and his brats have backup now," Zabuza said. "Yes," Haku replied sadly, which did not go unnoticed by Zabuza. "You have been quiet ever since you met that boy in the forest." "Who is he exactly?" Zabuza asked. "I don't know, but he was strong and kind." "Zabuza-sama, are you sure we should do this job? For someone like Gato?" Haku asked her surrogate father. "You already know why we are doing this, Haku. Gato is a worm, but his money is green. And we need it, if we're going to fund the rebellion against Yagura, and that piece of shit water daimyo. Then again, I don't mind killing that fat scum and just take all his money, but lucky for him, I still have my reputation to uphold," Zabuza said with both pride and disgust in his voice. "I understand, Zabuza-sama," Haku said sadly. Speaking of the worm, Gato then enters through their front door with a huge smug on his face. Behind him are his two samurai bodyguards, and an unknown figure. Well, so much for the demon of the hidden mist. "I hear you got your ass kicked by a bunch of brats," Gato said with a grin. "Watch your mouth, Gato. They got lucky. They won't be next time," Zabuza said with a bit of anger in his voice. "Ha, whatever you say. But I hear they have backup now. And as much I want to see you make a fool out of yourself again, I have a business to run. And that bridge will cost me this country. That is why I hired this guy as your backup." Gato introduces Zabuza and Haku to the unknown figure. He appears to be a shinobi. "I have to say, Zabuza-senpai, you are not really living up to your title anymore," the unknown figure said with a smug smile. Zabuza just stared daggers at the man. "What are doing here, Raiga?" "This is my job," Zabuza asked, who happens to know the unknown figure. "And now it is mine too. Don't worry, senpai, I'm not here to step on your toes. Consider me as a way for you to even out the odds against the Konoha shinobis. Plus, it is good to finally work with a fellow Seve ninja swordsman again," the now identified Raiga Kurisuke said. Raiga had blue eyes with a darker ripple around the pupil, waist-length green hair with the top two bangs falling down on his cheeks on each side, and having dark, full lips. He is also carrying a pair of unique swords attached to his sides. Whatever, just don't get in my way, Zabuza ordered. Oh, I won't dream of it, Raiga said with a large grin. Haku then notices a large bag on Raiga's back. And it seems to be moving. What is that on your back, Raiga-san? Haku asked. That's not important. Shall we go now, senpai? Raiga said, hoping to change the subject. Fine, but I have a score to settle with Kakashi. You can deal with the other jonin. Haku can handle the brats, Zabuza ordered. Well, I hope you enjoy this little reunion, because I'm not paying you two to socialize. Now, go show me why they call you two the demon and thunder of the hidden mist already. Gato ordered. If I were you, I stop testing my patience, Gato. Haku, Raiga, let's go, Zabuza ordered, as he then led the two to the bridge construction site and their pending battleground. While Haku and the two mist swordsmen leaves the confines of their hideout, Gato couldn't help but smirk when they left. As soon as the Konoha shinobis, Zabuza and Raiga, are weakened, I want you to kill them all. I'm not wasting a cent on those grunts. But I want the bitch that broke my arm. She will make a fine plaything, Gato said with a perverted grin. Boss, isn't he a dude? One of his samurai bodyguard questioned with a raised eyebrow, hoping their boss is not sexually confused. You idiots. She obviously lied. Besides, she's too pretty to be a guy. And I'm going to make her squeal. Mark my words, boys, before this day is over, this backwater country will be completely under my thumb again, Gato declared with a sinister grin. Outside of Tazuna's house. It was a beautiful, peaceful morning. The sun was shining, the birds were chirping, and all of the 7 Konoha shinobis were eager to start their day by escorting Tazuna back to the bridge. Tazuna never felt safer than ever. Before today, his ninja bodyguards were guarding him and his construction team by shifts, since 2 of the remaining genins still needed to finish their tree climbing exercise with the supervision of 1 jonin. Luckily, Shikamaru and Choji managed to make it to the top of their trees yesterday, and their achievements were proudly celebrated with a huge feast by Tsunami, much to the Akimichi's delight. Now Tazuna will have the protection of 7 Konoha ninjas. 7, because their 8th sunny blonde member is still fast asleep, due to an intensive training he had last night. Are you sure you should go without Naruto-kun? Tsunami asked, the silver-haired jonin. Just for today. He has been training all day yesterday, and he deserves a little bit more rest. I'll leave Naruto in your hands, Kakashi said with an eye smile. But how about you, Kakashi-san? Are you and Choji-kun feeling all right? Tsunami asked, out of concern for her 2 former patients. Yes, somehow, Kakashi said, with a reassuring tone. Yeah, I feel a lot better. Thanks to you, Tsunami-san, Choji said with a warm smile to the young mother. Feeling glad that they are okay now, Tsunami was very happy that she was able to help the 2 ninjas get better. It was nice to feel needed. Well, that's good. Remember to not push yourselves too hard next time. Especially you, Choji-kun, Tsunami said with a smile. Will do, ma'am, Choji said with a playful salute at the young mother. We'll be going now, Tsunami. We'll see you tonight, Tazuna said, as he wished his daughter a sweet farewell, as he and his 7 ninja bodyguards made their way to the bridge construction site. Take care, Dad. Tsunami waved goodbye to them all as they left. On a boat, with Zabuza, Haku and Raiga. Are you 2 ready? Zabuza asked his surrogate daughter/right-hand woman, and his fellow 7 ninja swordsmen of the mist. Yes, Zabuza-sama, Haku says with both determination and hesitance in her voice. She then placed her fake hunter ninja mask back on her face, covering her pretty feminine features, and her conflicted emotions for the upcoming battle. Don't worry, senpai, I'll make sure to give them all a beautiful funeral, Raiga says with a sadistic smirk. But Zabuza narrowed his eyes when he heard the sound of Raiga's tone. He didn't like it one bit. You better keep your head straight, Raiga. I don't work with psychopaths. But I am curious, when exactly did you lost your mind? Zabuza said, with his narrowed eyes still locking on Raiga. I can't remember. I guess I've been so busy attending many funerals, that it slipped out of my head, Raiga said, with the sadistic smirk never leaving his face. Yeah, whatever. Just remember the priority. We just want the bridge builder. The Konoha shinobis are fair game, if they stand in our way. But killing the contractors. Knock them out only. Zabuza ordered with a dangerously strict tone. Ha, I didn't realize you have gone soft, senpai. Raiga said with an amused smile. But apparently, the demon of the hidden mist did not appreciate that comment. Call me that again, and I'll cut you down. Zabuza said, as he released a small portion of his demonic killing intent. But the twin sword-wielding ninja was completely unfazed, and played it off like a joke. So mean, senpai. You just reminded me why I hated my fellow 7 ninja swordsmen in the first place. Especially that fish-faced bastard, Kisame. But, I always like you. We are the same, you and I. You are truly the definition of the ultimate killer. Raiga said with admiration in his voice. We are not the same, Raiga. Just do what I say, and don't test my patience, Zabuza said with a threatening tone. Oh, so scary. I like it. Don't worry, senpai, just as long as I get to bury someone today, I'll be a good boy, Raiga said with a sadistic smile. The 3 rogue shinobi then turned their heads, and saw the site of their destination. They have finally arrived on the bridge construction site. Back in Tazuna's house, with Naruto. Naruto finally woke up from his long slumber and he let out a loud yawn. He was still wearing his pajamas, as he looked at the beautiful morning sky from his window. Damn, I slept like a baby. Naruto said, rubbing his eyes, stretching his limbs, and letting out another loud yawn. God, I was totally beat last night. But it was all worth it. Thanks to my shadow clones, I finally mastered some of my new Hyoton jutsus and Fuin jutsus. I can't wait to test them out, maybe not the lethal ones, but yeah, Naruto said to himself, as he looked around his room, to find his roommates, Sasuke, Shikamaru and Choji missing. He later saw a note right next to his bedside, as he then picked it up and started reading it. Dear Naruto-kun, you came back very exhausted yesterday, so we decided let you sleep in for a bit. Meet us at the bridge when you're awake. Love, your Ino-chan. XOXO. This immediately put a smile on his face. His girlfriend is truly cute and considerate for leaving him a note. Such a cute handwriting, from my cute girl. Wait a minute, what day is it today, holy sage of the 6 paths? It's the end of the week. Naruto yelled out in panic. He immediately got off his bed and went downstairs, to find Tsunami washing the dishes. Tsunami-san, when did everyone left? Naruto asked with panic in his voice. Oh Naruto-kun, you're finally awake. They left about an hour ago. Kakashi-san wanted you to rest and relax for today. Tsunami informed the blonde. What were you thinking, Kakashi and Aizen? It's the end of the week. Zabuza and Haku could attack by now. Okay, calm down, Naruto. Everything is going to be fine. With Asuma-sensei, teams 10 and 7, we still have them outnumbered. But still, Haku is a Yuki. And I have seen firsthand what the power of Hyoton can do. Naruto thought with worry. Thank you, Tsunami-san. Naruto said calmly, and rushed back upstairs. He then went to change into his shinobi clothes. He put on his mesh armor shirt and black anba pants and sandals. He put on his maroon-colored jacket and metal-plated fingerless gloves, and tied his headband tightly around his forehead. He then places all of his weapons back to his pouches, and tucked the Reijinoken safely in his inner jacket pocket. Naruto then went downstairs to bid his farewell to the young mother. I'll be leaving now. Don't worry, Tsunami-san, I feel rested enough already. Naruto said with a reassuring smile. Tsunami was truly amazed at the sight of him. He really does look completely rested. Somehow. Last night when he came back from his training, he looked like he was about to collapse at any second. But here he is now, looking fresh like nothing happened. Wow, you're like a ball of energy, Naruto-kun. What's your secret? Tsunami asked. I have my ways, Naruto said with a smirk, but he could feel Kurama rolling his eyes in his mindscape when he said that. Well, be careful and please take care of my father, will you? Tsunami asked. Will do, ma'am, Naruto said with a bright smile that made her smile as well. With that, Naruto finally left the house and was on his way to the bridge construction site. As Naruto was running through the woods, he immediately stopped when he felt two low chakra signatures approaching the house. At first he dismisses the thought, feeling it could some random civilians. But then he sensed the strong emotion of malice radiating from them. He didn't want to leave Tsunami and Inari alone, knowing two possibly hostile individuals are coming, and didn't want to risk sending a shadow clone to deal with them, when they could be dispelled by a lucky hit. So Naruto decided to turn back, to personally handle the matter himself. His hunch was confirmed, when two samurai thugs showed up at the front of the house. One of them then sliced down the door like it was paper, with his katana. Tsunami was shocked when she heard the sound of her door breaking apart, and gasped when she saw the two intruders before her. One of them is a light-skinned man with bluish-white hair and black eyes. Line markings are tattooed under his eyes. He wears a dark purple hat on this head, the top of which extends far beyond the top of his head. He also wears a blue jacket with multiple pockets, and tied to his waist is his blue-handled katana. The other is of tall-statured man, who wears an eye patch over his right eye and has brown hair which he parts in three, finishing in an elaborate topknot. He has an intricate tattoo that seemingly stretches across his entire left side and left-right, inner thigh, as well as a stitched scar on the left side of his forehead, and the left side of his mouth. He wears what seems to be a loose-fitting kimono, albeit not in the traditional manner, as the top half of the outfit falls around his waist leaving his upper body exposed. He also wears bandages wrapped around his waist, simple sandals, and carries a fairly long sword. So you're Tazuna's daughter, huh? Too bad, you'll be coming with us now. The samurai thug with the purple hat said to Tsunami. Who are you people? What do you want? Tsunami asked, with great fear in her voice. He, quite a beauty, isn't she, Zori? The samurai with the eye patch said, as he licked his lips and gazed hungrily for the pretty young mother. Keep it in your pants, Waraji. We got a job to do, remember? And I don't want to bring bad news to Gato. The now identified Zora says, reminding his sex-crazed deviant partner, Waraji, of their objective. Gato? Tsunami asked, as her fears had risen up than ever. The monster of a man that took her husband is now after her. Inari heard the sounds of his mother's screams and broken plates, so he rushed downstairs only to find Tsunami on the floor, with her back against the wall, as the two scary-looking thugs stalks her every step. Mother! Inari yelled out to his mom. Tsunami heard the sound of her son's voice, and her eyes immediately widened in fear. No! Don't come out here! Run away! Hurry! Tsunami yelled out to her son to flee. Don't move, kid. Zora says with a dangerously strict tone, enough to froze the little boy where he stood. Should we grab this one too? Waraji asked his partner. No. Gato asked for just one hostage. Zori answered. Hostage, Inari thought in fear, knowing that he and mother's life are in great danger. But hearing that they don't need another hostage, somehow puts a large sinister grin on Waraji's face. Alright, then let's waste him. Waraji yelled out excitedly, as he slowly took out his katana, intending to slice the little boy to ribbons, before finally ending his misery. Hearing the threat on her son, caused Tsunami to immediately panic. Wait! Please don't hurt my son. I'm begging you, he's just a boy. Tsunami pleaded and tried to reason. Not a chance, sweetits. I've been dying to slice something up, and your dumb kid will be a much better prey than that wild boar we ran into the forest. Besides, what's in it for me? Waraji said with a perverted grin at the end. I'll do anything. Just please, don't hurt him. Tsunami begged once more, not knowing the repercussions of her desperate plea, as she was blinded by her motherly instincts to see Waraji's perverted grin grew wider. Anything, huh? He, Waraji said, as he licked his lips once more. Well, since you are so generous, how about you let us have some fun with you first? Waraji said, as his perverted grin grew wider, and slowly walking towards the helpless young mother. All Tsunami could do was gasp, as her eyes widened in fear. Is she really about to be raped in her own home? Are you out of your mind? Gato wants her unharmed, you idiot. Zori yelled out for partner's antics. He says that, but we both know what he intends to do with her. And as his loyal bodyguard, isn't it our duty to sample the goods before he enjoys his meal? Waraji said, as he is now inches away from Tsunami, and grabbed her by her pink blouse. You do what you want. I'm not getting in trouble just because you're fucking horny. Zori says with a scoff and looks away. Fine. More for me, then. Waraji yells in delight, as he immediately ripped Tsunami's blouse, exposing her white lace bra and well-toned belly, causing her to scream. No! Don't touch me! Tsunami yelled out in tears in her eyes, and tries to fight off the eye patch-wearing thug, but apparently her struggles only spurs him on even more. He then forcefully pined her against the wall, as his chest was pressing against her subtle breast. Don't worry, beautiful. I won't bite. Much. Waraji whispered in her ear, as he licked her tearful cheeks. Seeing his mother helpless, and being sexually assaulted, made Inari cry his eyes out. He couldn't do anything. He was completely frozen. He didn't want to die. He was a coward. Naruto was right, Inari thought with great sadness in his heart. When push comes to shove, he couldn't do anything to help the person he loves. He was truly ashamed of himself. But then he remembered what Kakashi told him about the blonde Senju. He was you, Inari. He was a sad little boy, who had his heart broken so many times. My guess is, he just got tired of crying, and decided to do something about it. Inari's eyes widened for the silver-haired Jonin's words, and his crying lessens a little. He remembers what his father once told him. If you really care about something, protect it. Even if you have to put your life on the line. Protect it with both arms. Inari stopped his crying, and wiped his tears away. He finally knew why his father smiled before he was executed by Gato. He was happy. Because in the end, he did what he had to protect his family. And even though he failed to save his country from Gato's tyranny, he knew he did his best. And he trusted his son to succeed where he failed. To never give up, no matter what. Realizing this, Inari had finally found his lost courage. He already lost one parent, and he refuses to lose another. Stop. 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 Leave my mother alone. Inari yelled out, causing Waraji to stop his advancement on Tsunami. Beat it, kid, can't you see I'm about to have some playtime with mummy here, Waraji says, as he slowly lifted Tsunami's skirt up. No! Tsunami yelled, trying her best to fight him off. Hearing his mother's scream immediately filled Inari with anger. You animal! Get away from her! Inari yelled out and charges at Waraji. But the little boy's advancement was put to a stop, as he was knocked down by Zori, with a backhand slapped on the face. You're really starting to spoil my fun, kid. As Punis meant, I'm going to fuck your mother's brains out in front of you. So shut up and enjoy the show. Waraji says, with a smirk. Inari. Let me go, you goddamned son of a bitch. Tsunami yelled out, as she punched Waraji on his face, but the eye patch-wearing samurai merely shrugged it off. Feeling more excited than ever, Waraji smiled and then throws Tsunami on the ground, with the intent of finally penetrating her, in a more comfortable position. Ho ho ho, a real fighter in you. I like that. Then you're going to love me. Waraji's eyes widened, when he heard those words behind him, and felt something sharp pierce through his chest. It was a glowing yellow blade, and its wielder is none other than Naruto. The blonde's eyes were burning with cold fury. Naruto then deepens the stab, making sure it reaches Waraji's heart, and finally pulling the energy sword out of the would-be rapist. Waraji's body fell limp on the floor, but apparently something amusing came to his mind as he was about to die. Ha ha ha, I always thought I'd die this way. He died with a boner. You disgusting motherfucker. I never liked killing, but for you, I don't regret one bit. Naruto said with great disgust, and cursing himself for arriving so late. Naruto! Inari yelled out with joy in his voice. Sorry, I'm late, Inari. Naruto said with a sad smile. You little brat. Zori yelled out, as he pulled out his katana and charged at Naruto. Naruto immediately put his Reiji no Ken back in his pocket, and flawlessly dodged all of the thug's sloppy slices. It looked like Naruto was simply dancing. Naruto could have killed him easily like Waraji, but he needed information from him. When Naruto saw an opening, he immediately disarmed the thug from his katana, by grabbing his sword-holding arm and breaking it in 2 places, and kicking him hard in the gut, causing him fall down in pain. Ah, you broke my arm. He screamed out in pain. There are 206 bones in a human body. That's 1. Now don't move. Naruto ordered with a dangerous tone. Inari. I'm so glad you're okay. Tsunami ran up to him and embraced her son in a tight hug. Inari, take your mother outside please, Naruto ordered with a cold tone, as his gaze were firmly locked on Zori. Right, Inari did what he was told, and led Tsunami outside. Naruto knew he needed to interrogate the samurai thug for any valuable information, but he needed to do it quickly. Zabuza could be attacking the bridge by now. Now, tell me, why are you here? Naruto asked calmly. Ha, you don't scare me, kid. Zori simply scoffed. But then Naruto leaned his head forward, and Zori could see his violet-purple eyes immediately turn vermilion red with slit pupils. Why are you here? Naruto said with his deep demonic voice. What are you? Zori asked fearfully. Answer me. I can't. Gato will kill me. If you don't talk, I'll kill you. If I do, will you let me go? It depends on your answer. Naruto said, as his eyes and voice turned back to normal. Seeing that there was no way out, Zori had no choice but to cooperate. Gato wanted us to kidnap Tazuna's daughter as insurance. If Zabuza and his lackey fails to kill him, he'll use her as a bargaining chip. He also wants to rape her. Yes. Gato has been obsessed with her since she was Kaisa's wife. He wanted to hurt Kaisa even more, even though he's dead. Give me one good reason why I shouldn't kill you right here, right now. Look, you do what you want. I may be scum, but I am no rapist. Oh yeah. You didn't seem to mind when your dead friend over there attempted to rape an innocent woman in front of her child. You're a real saint, aren't you? Naruto asked sarcastically. This immediately caused Zori to narrow his eyes at the blonde. Fuck you, kid. Call me a monster all you want, I have a little sister who has a heart condition. And I would rather kill myself than stoop to the level of the rapist and assholes I have to work with. I'm just a cheap thug, and the money I get from Gato is good enough to pay for her treatment. Am I supposed to feel sorry for you? I don't give a shit about how sad your life is. That does not justify the things you have done to this country and its people. What else are you not telling me? Gato hired another assassin ninja. His name is Raiga or something. And I hear he's quite a psychopath. Anything else? Gato is planning to betray Zabuza and Raiga once their fight with you Konoha shinobis are over. Win or lose, it doesn't matter. Gato is too cheap to pay a large fee on them. He also wants Zabuza's lackey as well. I thought he was some pretty boy, but apparently he's a pretty girl, and you know where this is going. Hearing Haku was in danger by Gato immediately made Naruto narrowed his eyes in anger. That fat pig will die today. Mark my words. So what now? Are you going to let me go, or kill me? Naruto was reluctant at this. He knew letting Zori go could cause him to hurt more people in the future, and the Hokage explicitly told him to learn from his mistake of showing mercy to an unforgivable enemy. But Zori was hardly a threat anymore, and with all the information he had given him, he was nothing but a liability to Gato now. I won't kill you, but I never said I let you go. Naruto said, before he knocks Zori out cold with a haymaker punch. Outside the house, with Tsunami and Inari. Tsunami managed to change from her torn pink blouse, with one of her other blouses that were hanging out to dry outside. She was now wearing a dark blue top. She was still shaken up about what happened earlier, but luckily Naruto arrived just in time before the unthinkable happened. When Tsunami and Inari saw Naruto walked out of the house, while dragging a tied-up and unconscious Zori behind him, they immediately ran up to him and embraced him in a tight hug of appreciation. Naruto-kun, are you okay? Tsunami asked the blonde boy. I should be asking you that. I'm so sorry, I was late. I should have come sooner. Naruto says apologetically. No, please don't apologize, you came just in time. Thank you so much Naruto-kun. Tsunami says as he continues to hug Naruto, not knowing that she was actually smothering him between her large bust. Naruto managed to break free from the affectionate hold, with a huge blush appearing on his face. Thank you, Naruto. Inari says, a little nervously and sadly at the blonde boy. You're very welcome. And, I'm sorry Inari, about what I said to you, a couple of nights ago. Naruto said, rubbing the back of his head shamefully. He knows it was wrong of him to yell at an ignorant child. No, I'm sorry Naruto. I am a coward. Inari says with a dejected tone. You're not anymore though. What you did took guts. You stood up to those men, knowing that you could have gotten yourself killed. And you did it to save your mother. You now finally understand the true meaning of strength. Naruto said with a soft smile. True meaning? Inari asked. Yes, Inari. You see, when you have someone precious to you, you do whatever it takes to keep them safe. By doing so, you tapped into a power that is far greater than anything, the will of fire. I see that same fire in you Inari. Your strong desire to protect your mother. And because of it, you have found your courage. Your family and this country were very precious to your father. Have you ever wondered how he can be so strong all the time? Naruto asked the little boy. Putting two and two together, Inari finally understood what Naruto meant. He wanted to protect us. Inari said with wide eyes, finally knowing where his father's strength comes from. Naruto then smiled, and softly pats Inari's head. You are a very brave boy, Inari. And your father would be so proud of you. Naruto said with his signature, bright smile. Hearing this coming from Naruto, and seeing his kind smile, made Inari wanted to cry. Naruto-Naisen. Inari said with tears in his eyes. The blonde Senju smiled softly when he heard the boy's affectionate nickname for him. So this is what it feels like to have a little brother, Naruto thought. Darn it, I promised myself I wouldn't cry anymore. You're going to make fun of me again and call me a baby. But I can't stop. Inari said, trying to fight back his tears and wiping them away. But Naruto just gave him a small chuckle. What are you talking about, Inari? Naruto asked. Ha! You are happy, are you? What's wrong with that? When you're happy, it's okay to cry. Naruto said with his bright smile. Naruto Naisen. Inari couldn't help but cry again. Naruto was truly someone special to him now. Tsunami couldn't help but cry as well. It has been a long time since she saw her son so happy. She was very glad they were able to meet Naruto. He was truly the hero the little boy needed. Hahaha, alright Inari, I can leave you in charge of things here now, right? Yeah. Good. Then I'm heading over to the bridge. Wish me luck, little brother. Naruto said with a wave, and he ran to the direction of where his team is. Good luck, Naruto Naisen. Inari yelled out with joy. Naruto then ran to bridge construction site as fast as he can. If what Zoro said was true, a battle is no longer necessary if Gato was never intending to pay Zabuza and Haku in the first place. But he knows Zabuza won't just believe him, and will no doubt think of it as a tactical trick. But he still needed to try. He is also worried about this Raiga person. And Zoro mentioned he was a psychopath. He can only hope his friends will be okay before he arrives. The bridge construction site. What the hell is this? Tazuna yelled out in horror when she saw all of his contractors on the ground, unconscious. He quickly ran up to one of them to see if they have any fatal injuries. Luckily, there were none. What's going on? What happened? Tazuna asked one a semi-unconscious contractor, but he only received a weak groan of pain in response. It's them, Kakashi thought with his single eye narrowed. Then suddenly a very thick mist appears, completely surrounding the bridge, and taking away the Konoha shinobi's advantage of sight. This is the hidden mist jutsu, but it is much more thicker than last time. Sasuke thought, as he analyzed his surroundings. Everyone! They're coming! Kakashi yelled out, alerting his fellow Jonin and their Ginins of their upcoming opponents. Kakashi then lifted his headband, revealing his single 3-tomo Sharingan. They all took a defensive formation as they surround Tazuna in a circle. Tazuna was still very fearful, despite having the protection of 2 elite Jonins and 5 Genins. I knew he was still alive. Making an appearance so soon Kakashi said, with a serious tone. Hinata then made a single hand seal. Byakugan! She yelled out, as the veins around her eyes were turning visible. Her ultimate power of sight has been activated, but unfortunately there was a problem. Kakashi-sensei, this mist is much more powerful than the last. I can barely see anymore. Hinata said with panic in her voice, as her Byakugan gazed into the mist. The Byakugan is a powerful dojutsu that grants the user a 360-degree vision and the ability to see through objects and people. They can also see chakra, which is an important contribution to their legendary taijutsu, the Gentle Fist. But this mist is completely made of chakra. She could see a little clearer compared to everyone else, but sadly she was as blind as the rest of them. Unbeknownst to her, this mist was empowered by 2 Jonin-level Kiri ninjas, who are considered the masters of this technique. They then heard the sound of a deep chuckle around them, which Kakashi and Team 7 immediately recognized the voice. Sorry to keep you waiting, Kakashi. I see you and the brats have some backup now, ha ha ha, and it's none other than Asuma Sarutobi, of the 12 Guardian Ninja. Looks like I'm going to get a lot of money out of this job after all. Zabuza said with a laugh, as he recognizes Asuma for the large bounty on his head. But the Sarutobi immediately scoff at the threat of this life. There is no way he is going to get killed because of his stupid bounty. I'm not that easy to take down, Zabuza. And who knows, I might collect the bounty on your head. Asuma said with a smirk as he also recalls Kiri's bounty on Zabuza's head that was almost as large as his. Tough talk from the son of the Hokage. But we all know that today is the day you all die. Don't to take it personally though. It's just business. But that doesn't mean I won't enjoy it a little bit. I mean, look at that one. He's still trembling. Poor thing. Zabuza said with a mocking tone at Sasuke, when he saw his hand was shaking. Sasuke immediately stopped his trembling hand and widened his eyes when he heard Zabuza indirectly called him out. Then suddenly 7 water clones of Zabuza appeared in a flash, surrounding them all, with their Kubikuribocho on their shoulders. After a moment of intense silence, one of the Zabuza clones noticed that Sasuke was actually smirking and tightening the grip of the kunai in his hand. "I'm trembling with excitement," Sasuke said, with the confident smirk never leaving his face. "Go for it, Sasuke," Kakashi said with an eye smile. In a blink of an eye, Sasuke easily destroyed the water clones, turning them back to their liquid form. I see it," Sasuke thought to himself, as his vision was somehow becoming much clearer. Now from a few feet away from the Konoha shinobis, Zabuza and Haku revealed themselves to their opponents. Despite the misty environment, they can still see the assassin ninja pair, as bright as day. Well. So he could see through my water clones, eh? That brat has grown quite a bit. This means a rival of speed has finally emerged for you, Haku, Zabuza said to his female partner. So it seems, Haku responded with an emotionless voice. MMPH, as much as I hate to admit it, Naruto would have finished those clones 3 times faster than me, Sasuke admitted out loud. Despite what people believe, the Uchiha had absolutely no problem that Naruto is stronger than him. But that doesn't mean he won't catch up to him. Hearing Naruto's name made Haku flinch a bit, which did not go unnoticed by Ino. Why was her reaction that way, she wonders. Apparently, Naruto never told anyone about his encounter with Haku in the forest. She didn't really give him any valuable intel about herself or Zabuza, so he didn't feel the need to disclose it to everyone. The only thing he learned is that she is a Yuki, which means he would have to reveal his secret if they ask about his mysterious knowledge regarding her clan and Kekkei Genkai. So, we had it right. It was all an act, with that cute little mask of yours, Kakashi said accusingly at Haku. So I guess all that about being a hunter ninja, protecting her village was just a bunch of bull, Sasuke added in. They look pretty chummy to me. I say they've been pulling scams like that for a long time, Asuma said, as he observed how close their enemies are. You got some nerve, facing us after pulling that trick of yours, Choji yelled out with his fist in the air. And hiding behind a mask. Who does she think she's fooling? Kakashi added in, but apparently his Genin team just sweat dropped at the ironic statement of their masked sensei. Speak for yourself, sensei, Sasuke, Hinata and Choji thought in unison. Sasuke then narrowed his eyes at Haku. That's it, I'm taking her out, Sasuke said, hoping he will be given the opportunity to test himself against a potentially powerful foe, who looks to be only a few years older than him. With Haku and Zabuza. He's impressive, Haku said to Zabuza, regarding Sasuke's speed. The swordsman merely scoffed. Even though the water clones were just 1/10 the strength of the original, he did destroy them all easily if Haku praised the Uchiha's abilities. That move still give us the first advantage. Once I give the signal, prepare to sweep in and go after the Genins, Zabuza ordered. Right. Back to everyone else. Give it up, Zabuza. We have you outnumbered, Kakashi warned threateningly. But that warning simply made the giant sword-wielding ninja chuckle. Clearly the copy ninja had forgotten the hidden misjutsu was made to fight against many enemies. And as long as you're a master of the silent kill tekkyuhike, which they are, victory is possible. It seems that way, but let's even out the field, shall we, Raiga? Zabuza yelled out. Raiga suddenly appeared behind the Konoha shinobis, on the opposite side of the bridge from Zabuza and Haku. Everyone had their eyes widened when they saw Raiga, as he took out a pair of unique double-edged swords from his waist. Both blades have an upward curved bladed prong near the tip of one side of the blade, and another one near the base of the blade's other side. Asuma and Kakashi immediately recognizes the infamous blades and its wielder, Raiga Kurasuke, the Thunder of the Hidden Mist and another member of the 7 ninja swordsmen. wielder of the Kiba blades. This is not looking too good, both Konoha, Jonins thought. Raiga then raised both his swords up in the air, and with a spark of electricity that was releasing from the blades, soon followed by the sounds of loud thunder that was exploding from the clouds. He then slashed his swords downwards, and summoned a barrage of natural lightning from the sky that was aimed towards the Konoha shinobis. Evasive maneuver. Now! Kakashi yelled out, as he grabbed Tazuna and jumped out of the way, along with the rest of the Konoha shinobis, as they narrowly evaded the barrage of lightning strikes. But the attack did what it was intended to do, separating them from each other. Haku immediately rushed towards the Genins, while Zabuza ran towards Kakashi. Kakashi managed to get Tazuna out of harm's way, but when one of the natural lighting was about to strike Tazuna down, Kakashi, with the help of his Sharingan, quickly made a couple of hand seals and jumped up high in the air and used his Raikiri to literally cut the lighting in half before it could hit the bridge builder. No wonder he calls it the lightning cutter, Asuma thought with amazement. Suddenly, out of instinct, Asuma managed to dodge a sideswipe by one of the Kiba blades, but received a strong kick in the chest, sending him a few feet away, but was able to land on his feet. He then turns his head to his newest opponent. The Thunder of the Hidden Mist, himself. Your opponent is me, Asuma Sarutobi. I'll make sure to give you a beautiful funeral, Raiga said with a sinister smile. With Haku and the Genines. Haku ran towards Sasuke in an impressive display of speed, with a Senbon in hand. Sensing her presence coming from behind him, the Uchiha immediately turned around and used his kunai to block the very fast swipe of the throwing needle. The Uchiha and the Yuki were now locked in a stalemate, trying their best to overpower the other with their weapons. You're good, but now you only have one free hand, Haku said in a very calm tone. Sasuke was confused at what she was implying, until his eyes widened when he saw Haku made a couple of hand seals, with only one hand, which is considered impossible. Secret Jutsu, 1,000 Needles of Death. Haku stomped her foot on the watery ground, causing it to splash upwards. The water in the air then suddenly transformed into thousands of throwing needles. They were now floating in the air, and are aimed towards Sasuke. Shit! Calm down, Sasuke. Remember the training, channel your chakra to the bottom of your feet. Sasuke then focuses his chakra on the soles of his feet, and could feel his movements was now significantly faster. When the thousands of Senbons were shot towards the Uchiha in an unavoidable speed, Sasuke managed to jump up high in the air, before any could hit him. As Sasuke was still mid-air, Haku didn't notice that she was now surrounded. Fire Style, Phoenix Flower Jutsu. Ino blew out multiple large fireballs towards the Yuki girl. Her fire attacks are much more stronger now, since she has finally mastered the tree climbing exercise. She couldn't help but be proud of herself, especially with the results she had. Haku did her best, as she dodges the extremely hot balls of fire, until she heard the sounds of something huge, rolling her way. Human boulder. Choji charges towards Haku, in his giant ball-like form. Haku then made a couple of unique hand seals. Ice Style, Crystal Wall. A large wall of very durable ice rose from behind her, which the Akimichi collided with in full speed. But it only made small crack on it. Apparently it was as strong as steel. Hyoton. Ino said in her thoughts, shocked that their enemy has the same powers as her whiskers. Haku was now very tense. She underestimated the Genins before her, and now she can't afford to fight with only half her strength. She was outnumbered, but she won't be overpowered so easily. Her deep thoughts were broken when she heard the sounds of footsteps running towards her. It was Hinata, as she charges with the intent to shut down all the chakra points of the Yuki girl with her gentle fist strikes. Haku knew that fighting against a Hyuga in closer quarter combat is suicide. So she needed to keep her distance from Hinata. Haku once again made a couple of hand seals with only one hand. Secret Jutsu, 1,000 Needles of Death. Haku stomped her feet on the watery floor once more, as thousands of Senbons were formed, and were immediately shot towards the Hyuga girl, causing her to stop her advancement. I won't be able to dodge that many senbons. There is only one tekuhike I can do now, but it is still not perfected, but I have no choice. Hinata thought in panic. Hinata then raised her arms apart and started to spin her entire body in a 360-degree spin. 8 trigrams, palm rotation. A massive dome made of chakra was formed around her, blocking the countless throwing needles as they were completely destroyed when impacted by the chakra dome. But her defensive tekuhike was still not perfected, as when the barrage of throwing needles stopped, and so did Hinata's rotation, she saw few of the senbons manage to slip through her defense and pierce through her forearm, back and thigh, causing her to drop to one knee. "Hinata!" Sasuke yelled out, and ran towards Haku while forming a couple of hand seals. Fire style, fireball jutsu. Sasuke fired a very large fireball towards the Yuki girl, but she was fast enough to dodge it, causing it to explode behind her. But the lower part of her pants were slightly singed by the heat. "I'm sorry about this, but I cannot afford to waste any more time here. If the bridge builder is eliminated, this fight is over," Haku said, as she turns her head at Tazuna's direction, who is currently taking cover behind some cinder blocks, as he watches Kakashi fight against Zabuza. She then placed 3 senbons between her fingers, and threw them all towards Tazuna. All of the genins' eyes widened in panic when they saw the senbons in midair, heading towards their client. "Tazuna-san! Watch out!" Hinata yelled out. Tazuna turned his head around and his eyes widened in fear. As he prepares himself for his inevitable doom, someone quickly rushes in, and landed in front of him. It was Shikamaru. The Nara then made of a couple hand seals, and slammed both his hands on the ground. Earth-style, mud wall. A medium-sized wall made of earth rose from the ground, and blocking the incoming senbons, before they could hit the bridge builder. "That was too close," Shikamaru said to himself, panting a little, as he was now kneeling in front of his wall of earth, tired and exhausted. "Thanks, kid. I owe you 1 inch," Tazuna said with a sigh of relief. "To be honest, I didn't realize it could work. I'm still working on my earth chakra exercises, but luckily I know the hand seals for this jutsu. Plus, my chakra reserves are still very small, compared to my teammates," Shikamaru admitted with a small laugh. Tazuna just gasped in shock, and his jaw literally dropped. He couldn't believe that the lazy pineapple-haired kid didn't even know that his jutsu would work or not. Ino managed to make her way towards Shikamaru and Tazuna, and was now kneeling behind the earth wall alongside her teammate and the bridge builder. She decided to stay by Shikamaru's side, and guard Tazuna together, while Team 7 deals with the Yuki girl. "Good job, Shika, I didn't realize you have a Doton jutsu already," Ino said with a proud smile. "Well, luckily, I did. Anyway, can you create a mind link for all of us? Maybe I can come up with a strategy, while Team 7 keeps that Haku girl busy," Shikamaru asked. "I'll try, but I never connected with more than 2 people before. I need to concentrate harder," Ino informed with worry in her voice. The Yamanaka girl then made a single hand seal, and activated her mind transmission jutsu, connecting her mind with Shikamaru's and Team 7. "Don't be alarmed, guys, I established this mind link so we can communicate via our thoughts," Ino informed in their minds. "Whoa, this is so weird. Is this how you guys usually communicate?" Hinata asked in her thoughts. "Only for private conversations, dangerous fights, or when we need to plan out our tactics in secret," Ino answered. "Wow, that's actually pretty cool," Choji thought in awe. "MMPH, no wonder you guys can be so well coordinated," Sasuke thought with a smirk. "This won't last long though. This jutsu uses a lot of Ino's chakra. And the more people she links herself with, the faster she tires. So I'll make this quick. I'll try to come up with a strategy to beat Haku, but I need you guys to buy me some time," Shikamaru informed. "No problem. I can do this all day," Sasuke thought with a confidence. Haku, however, was starting to lose her patience. She needed to help Zabuza against Kakashi as soon as possible. She wanted this job to be over, especially before Naruto shows up. It seems that you five are more skilled than I thought. But I cannot allow you to win. And I cannot afford to lose, Haku said with a serious voice. Haku then releases a large amount of her ice chakra that was currently radiating from her body. The air around them became very cold all of the sudden, and when Sasuke, Hinata and Choji were trying to warm themselves from the sudden drop of temperature, Haku proceeded to make a couple of unique hand seals. Secret Jutsu, Crystal Ice Mirrors. Several large mirrors made of ice was starting to form around Team 7, trapping them inside. And to everyone's shock, they saw the Yuki girl walk straight through the ice mirrors like it was water. Suddenly, from inside the mirror dome, multiple Hakus appeared in all of mirrors, facing Team 7 with a cold look behind her mask. Okay, this might complicate things, Shikamaru thought in fear for their friends. You think? I know this is not the right time for an "I told you so," but I told you we should have never left Naruto-kun behind, Ino thought. With Asuma and Raiga. Asuma was currently dodging like he never dodged before. If anyone would have asked him a couple years ago that he would one day use his shinobi skills to run from an actual lightning strike, he would laugh his ass off. Raiga showed no sign of restraint as he continues to shoot orbs of lightning from his blades towards the Sarutobi. This guy is barely using any of his chakra with those lightning strikes. Those blades of his are quite impressive. I need to close the distance between us fast, Asuma though with worry, as he took out a pair of trench knives from his back pouch. When he was able to find his footing, Asuma chakra sprinted his way towards Raiga in full speed, with his wind chakra enhanced knives in both hands, ready to slice the swordsman in half. While Raiga was so focused on his wild attacks, he didn't realize Asuma was turning into a blur, and was running straight towards him. He would have been killed then and there by the Sarutobi, if it wasn't for the sudden yell of warning, coming from the large bag behind his back. The voice sounded almost childlike. Raiga! Look out! The bag warned out loud for the swordsman, causing Raiga's eyes to widen, and was able to block Asuma's strike with his blades. Both men were now locked in a test of strength between their chosen weapons. Thanks, Ranmaru. I knew I can count on your eyes, Raiga said with a smirk at the bag. What the? Is there child in that bag? Asuma yelled out in disbelief. Ha ha ha, so you heard him, ah. You have fine ears, Asuma Sarutobi. Are you insane? Let the boy out. This fight is between you and me. Why would I do that? Ranmaru is my eyes, and I am his body. As long as we are together, I am unstoppable. I'm not going to fight you when there is a child on your back. Then you've already lost, Asuma Sarutobi. Once I bury you, I'll bury the rest of your team. Asuma gritted his teeth in anger. Raiga is truly an unpredictable opponent, and with Ranmaru on his back, it's like fighting with a hostage. Asuma needed to plan his attacks very carefully, but he's going to need some help from his team. Asuma and Raiga were now engaged in a fast-paced sword fight. Sparks were made with every clash of steel, and slice marks were beginning to appear on the ground they are standing on. The mist swordsman had the advantage, since he has the longer weapon, also the fact that Asuma was doing his best not to attack Raiga's back. Asuma realized he needed to get the child away from Raiga first, before he can defeat the mist swordsman cleanly. But the question is how? His answers were given when he saw Ino and Shikamaru were taking cover behind a wall of earth, with Tazuna behind them. He needed to get in touch with Ino, so they can communicate via her mind link, but Asuma needed to get her attention first. Asuma then jumped backwards to get some distance from Raiga. He proceeded to make several hand seals, and took a very deep breath. Wind style, great breakthrough. Asuma blew out a powerful gust of wind from his mouth, sending Raiga a couple feet away, but was able to anchor himself to the ground with his swords. The wind was actually powerful enough to clear some of the mist away, but not fully. But it was enough to get Ino and Shikamaru's attention. Ino! Mind link! Asuma called out to his female student. Oh man, I'm so going to have a headache after this. Shikamaru, whatever plan you have for Team 7, you better relay to them now. Ino said in panic. I just need another minute. It's hard to think calmly under these circumstances, Shikamaru said, as he was now in his strategic thinking pose, seeing every best possible outcome for his plan of action. Well, please think quickly. Asuma-sensei needs my help, Ino said. Ino then made a single hand seal, and extended her mind link towards Asuma. But the mental expansion was taking its toll on the Yamanaka girl's mind, as the vein on her forehead was turning visible, and a small amount of blood is dripping from her nose. You're linked, Asuma-sensei, Ino thought, with a very pain-filled voice, which did not go unnoticed by her sensei. I know you're under a lot pain right now, Ino, so I'll make this quick. Inside the bag on Raiga's back is a child. He might be an accomplice of Raiga, but I can tell from his soft voice alone, he is no older than 7 years old. When I give you an opening, I need either you or Shikamaru to get the child away from him. Understood? Asuma asked. Understood, sensei, Ino answered. Good. Now, break the link between us. Before you pass out, Asuma thought with worry. Ino then broke the link with Asuma, and leaned her back against the earth wall behind her for support. Ino, are you okay? Shikamaru asked. Yeah. I think I can last another 5 minutes. Please tell me you are done with your plan. Ino asked desperately. Yes. I already relayed it to Team 7. You can break the mind link now, Shikamaru informed. Didn't need to be told twice, Ino finally severed the mind link with everyone, finally allowing her mind to rest before it breaks. Asuma then returns his attention back to his very unstable opponent. Is that all you got, Asuma Sarutobi? A little breeze? Raiga mocked Asuma's earlier wind jutsu attack. Is this idiot for real? Wind beats lighting, that's a general fact, Asuma thought in annoyance. Don't worry. I still got plenty of tricks up my sleeve. Asuma said, retaking his battle stance. I was counting on that. Face it, you won't beat me. Not now, not ever. As long as I have Ranmaru's eyes, there are no blind spots for me. Raiga said with a grin. This guy just gave away his secret. Why are the strong ones, are always the dumb ones? Thanks for the tip. Asuma said with a smirk, as he and Raiga charged towards each other once more in a clash of blades. Back with Haku and Team 7. Team 7 was now panting heavily and bloodied all over, as their bodies were now covered by Haku's senbons. Choji was worst, since he was obviously the easiest target, but not even the Uchiha prodigy and the Hyuga princess were able to escape unfazed by Haku's ultimate hidden jutsu. Sasuke was able to reawaken his Sharingan, when he protected Hinata from Haku's sudden attack towards her Byakugan's blind spot. But they still only have one Tomo each, thus has not yet reached the peak of its ocular powers yet. After they received Shikamaru's message regarding his plan to defeat Haku, the three Genins now stood by each other, preparing for their last desperate attack against the Hyoton user. Alright, you guys know the plan, right? Sasuke asked his two teammates. Yeah, let's try it. Choji said while panting. I'll be right behind you, Sasuke-kun, Hinata said with determination in her voice. Hinata then used her Byakugan to scan all the mirrors surrounding them, hoping to pinpoint Haku's exact location. The images of Haku within the mirror were not clones, but simply her reflection. She was constantly moving within the mirrors the whole time, in an incredible display of speed. When Haku slowed down and stopped her tracks, Hinata's eyes widened and pointed out to her location. There! Hinata yelled out, pointing her finger to one of the mirrors Haku was currently in. Choji, now! Sasuke yelled out. Choji then made a single hand seal. Expansion Jutsu. Human boulder. Choji's form then transformed into the shape of giant-sized ball, and started launching himself towards Haku, while breaking the ground he was on. Sasuke then made several hand seals, and jumped up high in the air. Fire style, Fireball Jutsu. Sasuke blew out a large-sized fireball towards the ice mirror, hoping to weaken it enough for Choji's attack to break through. Choji's boulder form managed to clash with the weakened ice mirror, and was able to heavily crack it, which causes Haku's eyes to widen behind her mask. Refusing to let his friend suffer anymore, Choji then puts more chakra into his attack, and eventually he was able to break through the ice mirror, and escape to the other side, but not before collapsing from chakra exhaustion. Sasuke and Hinata ran as fast as they could, to escape the ice mirror dome, but thanks to Haku's superior speed, she was able to avoid Choji's direct hit, and shot more senbons towards the pair. Hinata was able to dodge and block most of them, and was about to reach the exit. But when she turned around, she saw Sasuke was on his knees, as more needles were sticking out of his body. When she saw Haku was about to go for the finishing blow towards the Uchiha, her eyes widened, and the world suddenly slowed down around her. Her best friend, her crush. No, the love of her life, was about to be taken away from her. Out of instinct, she turned back, and chakra sprinted her way between Sasuke and Haku. In a last desperate attempt to save him, she rotated her body as fast as she could, as her chakra was surrounding her body in a shape of an imperfect dome. 8 trigrams, palm rotation. Haku was hit by the imperfect chakra dome, and was sent crashing towards one of her mirrors. Sasuke, who was still dizzy from his injuries, didn't realize Hinata was standing in front of him. "Sasuke-kun, are you okay?" Hinata asked weakly. After hearing her delicate voice, Sasuke raised his head, but his eyes widened at the sorrowful sight before him. Hinata now has more senbons sticking out of her body. She looked like an actual pin cushion. Losing the strength of her legs, Hinata fell backwards, and into Sasuke's arms, who used the remaining of his strength to catch her. "Hinata!" Sasuke yelled out, trying to comfort her the best he could. But the pain-filled look on her face was breaking his heart into a million pieces. "No, no, 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 no. Hinata! Look at me. Please look at me." Sasuke desperately yelled out, as she struggles to keep her eyes open. "Sasuke-kun," Hinata weakly said, as she looked straight into his blood-red eyes, as he looks into her pale lavender ones. "Why? Why, Hinata? Why would you go that far for me?" Sasuke asked, with tears starting to fall from his eyes. But after hearing his words, all Hinata could do was smile at him, and cupped his cheek with her hand. "Because I love." Hinata couldn't finish her words, as her beautiful pale eyes were shut, her hand fell from his cheek, and her breathing stopped. "Hinata! Hinata! Hinata!" Sasuke called out, and desperately tried to shake her awake. When she gave no response, more tears started to fall from his eyes, as he buried his face in her blue hair, while holding her body close to his. "Don't do this to me, don't do this to me, don't do this to me, please, God, no." Sasuke begged, as he continues to cry in her hair. Haku was now standing on her feet, and couldn't help but cry behind her mask. "Forgive me. I never wanted this to happen. She was clearly precious to you, and you were precious to her. She was a true ninja. Worthy of honor. Is this the first time you've seen a friend die in battle? This is part of what it means to be a shinobi. Shut up, you will pay for this." Sasuke opened his eyes, revealing his one Tomo Sharingan. But suddenly, that one Tomo became 2, and eventually 3. But then, it transformed completely and took the appearance of 3 intersecting ellipses. "I'm going to kill you!" Sasuke yelled out with his Mangekyo Sharingan, that were now burning with fury towards the Yuki girl. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed. If you enjoyed this what if and want to see next part of it, comment down below and let me know. Also share this video with your friends. See you in the next video. Peace.